Bay Area poets, and now in this kind of uncertain time, we've actually been able to expand our reach, which makes me really happy. Having folks call in from the East Coast and beyond, it's really nice to see familiar faces, even though folks aren't necessarily grounded here physically in the Bay Area. And each week it's more and more exciting. More folks are joining us, and the sign-up list today was completely full. So thank you all for the enthusiasm and for signing up to read. This has become such a really special place for all of us. So I'll just go over a few of the kind of house rules for the event. Kind of in this uncertain time, we're all learning and adapting to what this looks like, to kind of transform a very intimate open mic space into something virtual. But I hope it's still impactful for everyone. So essentially, the evening will begin with our open mic readers. And so we have about 25 folks signed up. So we ask that each of the readers keep your pieces under 4 minutes, just to be mindful of the space and everyone's time. Before each reader, I will read your name and invite you up to the virtual mic. If for some reason the person isn't in the room at the moment, I'll acknowledge that. And then if you later didn't hear your name called, you can message me, and I'll make sure you get back in the lineup. And so we'll do all the open mic readers, and then I will introduce our featured reader for tonight, which is Javier Reyes, and I'm so excited to have Javier tonight. And just out of, again, respect for everyone, please keep your microphones muted throughout unless you are reading at the moment. For the readers, you're welcome to have your video on or not. That's your preference. And because open mics are usually such an interactive, intimate space, what we're going to kind of do in this version of it is that if you want to react to people's poems or what you hear, you're entirely welcome to either like give air snaps or clap, or also write affirmations in the chat box for everyone. So I definitely encourage people to interact with people's pieces in that way. So I think that's pretty much most of the ground rules. I definitely do encourage also all of you to continue supporting MOAD, and this is just one of the many online programs that we're doing kind of in this phase of the museum not physically being open. So I encourage you to keep coming to our programs, and if you are able to during this time to give a financial donation, we do appreciate that. And so those can be made through our website, which is moadsf.org, or also we can take donations through text by texting the number 56512 and typing in MOAD SF in all caps. And this is something I'll share in the chat box for everyone, as well as remind everyone at the end. But I really just appreciate everyone being here tonight. And I'm gonna post the lineup in the meeting now so that everyone can see it, and then we will get started. Actually, I'll just introduce our first open mic reader. So I'm really excited to have Christopher Sims start us off.
Appreciate the opportunity, and shout out to the folks in the Bay Area. I got fam out there, so my heart is out there just the same. I wrote this poem about maybe 2 hours ago, so let me find it real quick. This is entitled Africans in China. So your people, business leaders, and executives, none of them who've ever lived, resided, rested in Africa can mistreat them in your homeland. So your people, business leaders in China can trade with, transform, take over local economies in Africa, use their manpower to devour destinies of African peoples who come from shaky, unsupported economies. So your people, entrepreneurs, and overzealous capitalists can enlist the strength and persistence of the people of the motherland when I really give a solid hand and demand the people get better, receive better, breathe and be better, breathe and be better. You can travel the beauties of the continent of Africa, experience the amazing glow of the people there, see drumming sessions and African jazz performances at your liking, go hiking and be amongst the most inviting people in the world. so you can experience all of the wonders, the songs, the chants, the triumph in South Africa, Liberia, and other places where pride is profound in the cradle of civilization. But your nation of large resources, monies at ease, expensive cars and cognacs, cigars, and other elaborate things your country is able to trade for without any problems, pursues my people, my global cousins and aunts and uncles and friends who extend love, patience, and warm personal exchanges with disrespectful ways of profiling them, quarantining them, keeping them locked up and locked away when they are citizens of China or business people just like you. It is wrong. It does not belong in the circle this universe thrives on. There they belong, there they should be treated the same way you are in Africa. Your people will benefit when you do. Your country will benefit when you do. Your own sense of self-worth will benefit. Commit to diplomacy and democracy, and please treat my people better. And that's that piece. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. All right, so next up we have Kim Sami. Welcome to the mic.
Hey, y'all. Thank you. This is actually my first open mic reading, so thanks for listening. This is Untitled. It's an Untitled piece, but it goes, my vision is fixated, concentrated on this unpredictable candlelight. The rhythm, mimicking the frequency of my thoughts. Random sparks of vividness, quick flashes of vagueness with emptiness as the backdrop. Flames so translucent at times, I can see all finally revealed, higher than be a slave to you. No words have been created in my mind for this yet, conditionally trained to be content with the unknown, I sit in peace with chaos. Candlelight, campfire, bonfire, now a wildfire. Unrestricted, liberated, powerful, deadly. I stand up, I step forward. I look back, I step forward. I'd still rather dance with fire than be a slave to you. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing. All right, next up we have Marc Plummer. Welcome to the mic. Are you in the room with us, Marc Plummer? All right, if Marc is in the room, we're gonna move on to the next person, but send me a message and we'll add you back in the lineup. So next up we have Brenda Usher. Is Brenda with us? All right, the same message then for Brenda. I think William Madden is here with us. So William, I'll have you go up next to the mic.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, try to, it's called Shelter in Place is the name of it, Shelter in Place. I'm ordered to shelter in place, but my home is one place I turn to feel safe. Yet I feel out of place because I'm displaced from a world I'm used to placing my thoughts and ideas, and now that's not in play. So I'm stuck in this place where, like everyone else, I wish this virus would go away. The coronavirus got this invisible death grip on all of us, and we're living it. It's like our lives are consistently at risk, walking within 6 feet of cats who probably don't even have it. 6 exact feet of uncertainty. It's amazing because if you invade a range of space, people look at you crazy, like you could have the plague. And if you got these microscopic droplets that are a hazard, so you have to change the way you behave. If we fast forward the clock, this fear could dictate our society may never be the same. I see people walking around with a mask, that mask the fear that I'm a viral threat, and I don't even have a mask. I don't want to look like some doctor from Grey's Anatomy or MASH, so you can keep your 6 feet. I'm good with the quarantine, but I'm not sporting a mask that makes me look like Bane from Batman or Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. F that. I get the social distancing, I do. But what would the world look like when we've exceeded the accepted distance between us? The distance between us. It serves an excuse to maintain the divide in our lives, the infinite lines. What if the spacing never contracts after time, right? What will our lives look like? And who were we kidding? We were distant before this, no doubt, and that's what I'm saying. So this will emphasize the excuse we use to ignore our neighbors anyway. And if we haven't been jerked off enough, Uncle Sam thinks $1,200 will pacify us. Come on, bro, that's gas for a month. People are dying, people are paranoid, people are struggling to keep up. No vaccine, no sense of community. Our society has suddenly been placed under house arrest by the 19. And there's this huge divide on what's right. Open up for business interests or sit tight to avoid this. Now, if we assess the data of who contracts and dies from the virus, it's overwhelmingly the old, poor minority, marginalized as collateral damage, and we all have no recourse but to accept it. Our health practitioners are on the front lines trying to save lives, but in doing so, their lives are also compromised. States bidding on test kits. Man, I'm sick. I'm sick of the political theatrics. Do we open up for economic interests or isolate ourselves to avoid this? Still political divisiveness. But the truth is that this virus could create a bridge. It's got to. I don't want to spend all my time on Zoom from my room. That ain't cool. The virus could create a bridge. It has to. For the sake of humanity, the bureaucracy we constantly deal with gets repetitious. So it's imperative we get through this. We have to for our families. We have to for our communities. We just have to use common sense. We just have our sense of hope. A sense we'll be fine once we get through this concept of time. For the vulnerable amongst us, we have to have a sense of responsibility to bridge that distance, not in space, but in the difference between us. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. All right, our next reader is Norm Maddox. Welcome, Norm.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. Good afternoon. I'm so glad to see y'all. In any case, let me go. Used to wear fear like cologne. Smell me from across the room. Palms sweating, feet mired in rabbit holes. No grace hiding in plain sight, looking for ways to sabotage myself, to make excuses, to be invisible, to be uninvited, to not go, to deny myself, to be unworthy, to be incomplete, an unbeliever in myself, a shadow of a thought. When I am all that I am, a triumph over mind and media. No parts missing. I am as whole as the totality of the universes. I am as present as sound and its echo. I am air. I can breathe. Okay. This other piece here is called The Story Needs Telling. Stop telling history. Stop writing history. Start telling we story, not the whitewashed history told in my mind where no one listens. It's the ocean that swallows us, not the sharks that danger us. Drowning with every breath, breathing fire immolates me in my anger. My ashes are wasted at a barbecue. Feed them up to smiling teeth. Carbon is good for the enamel. Grind my bones for seasoning. Bitter truths are savory lies, written in curriculum as history. If the listener is never told the story of us, if the griot of every tribe is silenced, never recorded, first voice narrative never written down, what remains is what is taught, is what plays in the background, in the foreground, as white noise, the babble of history, mumbling in the dark. The true story, we story. Thank you.
Thank you, Norm. I really like that. Appreciate you sharing.
Thank you so much.
All right, next up, we have a familiar face. I'd like to welcome Kai Adia up to the mic.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kai Adia, and I'm a writer from Los Angeles. I'm sharing 2 poems from my upcoming poetry volume. The poems I'll share are in conversation with each other. They're kind of discussing the feelings of anxiety I sometimes experience and how I get through it. So my first poem is called Fear Less. Fear less. How can I fear less? Maybe I must write fear to let it go. In writing, I look at it, I feel it. Putting an old self on the page, I see her inadequate fear. Forgive her, let her have her time, and let her be relieved. I suppose I fear what my body tells me when my chest feels clouded, when it seems I can't relieve it, when I don't know where the tears come from or why they fall. I put an old self on the page, and like a dragonfly stalled in the wind, the papery wings aren't as delicate as they seem. It will be healed. Feeling an inkling of the deepest cutting doubt, I imagine hands upon my head, shoulders, back, legs, and feet. They hold me, these black and brown palms. Their hands tell me I am supported, protected, never alone, always loved. Are they the hands of the past and future, together in unseen spaces? I think someone told me eons ago to hold on to my words, keep everything in. Maybe it's experiences gathered, lashes on my skin, tearing into my psyche, saying, keep what you clan close to chest. Hold it in so deep, underneath the barrier of broken skin. I say, let it out now. I put an old self on the page. And so that was my first. So my next poem is called Their Tears. Maybe the tears aren't my own. They're the salty streams of those who hoped for better, who had the audacity to know inside themselves that they were enough. Others spat in their faces, but they held that feeling steadfast in their chests, applying the pressure of rebellion, stubbornness, and hard love until a piece of their precious brilliance coagulated. And now they cry inside of me, sing that I will let their jewels fall. But even when the jewels feel heavy, enough to be simple jagged stones, or ordinary enough to be put down, I must remember their nature. No one can recreate them. It would only be a poor imitation. It is through me that their jewels be appraised for what they are worth. Priceless gifts given with the hope of careful, tender remembrance. And I'll make sure they are remembered, cherished even, so the tears they cry turn to those of irrevocable happiness. So thank you. Thank you for listening. I'm Kai again, and you can follow my work on my website, kaiadia.com.
Thank you, Kai.
Thank you.
Lovely hearing your poetry. Next up, we have Nicia Delovely. Are you here with us? What about Jamie Britto? So for those of you, if I'm calling your name and we move forward with the list, again, send me a message if you join later, and we'll add you back into the lineup. Do we have Inez Taylor? All right, let's see. How about Israel Avila? Well, I know Tony's here. Tony, are you ready to go up on the mic?
Yes, I'm ready to go up on the mic.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tony.
Here we go. In this pandemic, lately I've been losing my faith, losing my patience. The United Nations are united corporations, and now they're running all the broadcast stations. Same propaganda using us with immigration. In Washington, a camera watches the nation. In Washington, a camera watches the nation. I want to be a poet, where's that job application? I love the pictures poetry can grow. I'd like to thank Nia for inviting me to your show. Here we go. A letter to who else but her. How come I need sleep, but can't fall asleep? But I can write this poem. How come I inspire you when you're my inspiration? How come when I breathe around you, life smells so much better? How come when you visit me and it's time to go, I never want to let you go? How come roses fade? How come when I look at you, I think of us? Spring is my favorite time of year. How come? How come I pray for you at night and forget to pray for me? How come everyone says I need to slow down? How come we always care what other people think and material possessions mean more to people than people? How come in Puerto Rico, it rains when the sun shines? How come I love you more than life itself and want more than anything for you to be happy and free? Even if it means not being with me, my love is eternal, can't you see? How come you feel like destiny? How come when I look at your pictures, I cry? How come some clowns have sad faces? How come when my pillow smells like you, I sleep a whole lot better? How come I'm happy when I light my candles and sad when they go out? Maybe it's because I don't have a lot of candles. How come money makes the world go around and love doesn't? Is it because love hurts so much? Do you believe in angels? How come each snowflake is shaped differently? You know, when I was a kid and it rained, I thought God was crying. And sometimes I got so sad that God was crying that I would go to my room and cry with him and pray for him to stop crying. I thought God was in pain. How come there's so much war in that place called the Holy Land? How come I can close my eyes and see God, but could never ever hold him? How come life's a mystery and a never-ending story, made up of tears, smiles, and pain? Where's the glory? How come when we make love, we can come together, but out in public, out on the street, in front of family and friends, when they ask about our relationship, you say we could never go together? How come? How come you told me you would love me unconditionally? Some people make promises for the simple pleasures of breaking them. How come? How come? Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. That was beautiful. I love the percussion and the instruments. That was really cool. All right. I'm going to invite McTate Stroman II up to the mic. Welcome back.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. And let me just get this video back. All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry, I'm asking that question. All right. So we're at home. And mental health is a big thing. And I want to share with you guys this piece I wrote over 25 years ago. And if you guys are familiar with Billy Paul in War of the Gods, that's my accompaniment. Sometimes I feel as if my brain chemistry will disperse into more characters than the Smurfs. Forget a one-man band. See, I'm more like a one-man universe. With lyrics swing like Big Hurt, inside enough rhythms in Steve Martin to play the jerk. Forget smiles, I often smirk. For in whose eyes do devils lurk? You see, I run slang like gangs bang, and now I'm putting in work. In my mind, to find methods to spit like AKs while yelling warrior. Come out to play. You see, stress be mad fat. I have to tell Mac that a few brothers might hate you. No need to ask why. It's human nature. One breath, 2 steps away from Beelzebub's chambers. Wow. And now blood flows like anger. You see, death is the double banger. It's either Satan or the Savior. And as for pain, no, I only feel the anesthesia to transgress to other levels while yelling checkmate while playing chess with the devil. Sitting on the bed of nails, flipping the scripts and sparking L's, collecting mad props through laptops and email. In his land, and now he's lost like Chaka. Drinking a 40 ounce of OE, claiming to be simply the top knocker. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I like that we're continuing this music theme. It's really beautiful. All right, so next up to the mic, let's see. I would like to invite Andrea Hardeman. Are you here with us?
Yes.
Wonderful, welcome.
I have 2. The first one is called My Universe. On days like this, I needed you. I'd rather be alone tonight. You gave me the world only to consume the air I gasp to breathe. It took time to realize I am a universe, expansive on my own. And then my next one is called My Kind, and it's after Anne Sexton. I have gone out, possessed in mind, drunken blackouts to forget my lot in life, mounting bills, teething tots, a trophy wife that's forever fraught. I have been his kind. I have found the bars, gone shot for shot, supple breasts caress my chest, forgetting when I fell in love as my son breathed his first breath. I have been his kind. I have sunk into the lawn, possessions shrouding the ground, cars making their morning drive, disgraced by passing eyes. A broken man like that is afraid to die. I have been his kind.
Thank you for sharing both of those. Those are beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, so next up we have JamiQuan Saenz. Are you here with us?
I am. Okay, so give me, of course I was ready and now I'm not. Okay. So my name is JamiQuan Saenz and I'm really short, so here we go. Hope you guys can see. Barbara Ann loved to cook. She would rather be alone in peace. She had a beautiful home that smelled so good. A pain she wasn't about to hide. No more shit she was gonna take. The windows let all the air and sun in. Forgot, not set aside. Frustrated enough to create change. Diligent. So smart and resourceful. Recycled. Woke, for woke was a thing. Exercise was her life. She held my hand so tight. Why? Why, JamiQuan, she would say. Why you gotta remember? It's to keep us safe. She had a stroke and she can't see and she can't feel too well. And she showed me again, tell me she can't see me. And I asked her why. And she tell me too, as best she can. We go to the Woolworth stores and we eat there and we buy things. My granny gives the talk before we get there and I see she stands up for herself. She get ready. She's showing me how to. I can go anywhere. I always got my mind and can't nobody never take that from me. And I believed her, and I still do. Winchell's Donuts, lemon filled with powdered sugar, always. It's funny, I can't remember if she had one too, now when I tickle my brain. I remember her pride in showing me her degrees from college and her pictures at graduation. She is glowing like a Black Madonna. Black robes, short hair with this awesome gray streak. So proud of her short hair. A huge, proud smile of confidence lighting her face. Happy, clear. And I wanted to be just like her. Like that. So confident and so happy. I remember now my why. I do. I too walked across those same stages. As I laid in the nest she had made of blankets, she had warmed the whole house when needed. She now had washed my bodies with care. And the music is playing, and she gonna make me an omelet on that real fancy machine. And she said, relax. And her strong, warm hands caressed my body, rubbing my skin and acknowledging me. We talking, and she teaching, and I'm learning. And now, it's my turn. And I wash her body. And I hold her tight. And I use my strong hands to acknowledge her body. I watch her sleep, cook her good food, and we dance. My granny had a trampoline in the house, and she let me jump on it while I played the tambourine. This is an homage to my Granny B. Thank you guys for listening.
Wow, that was truly so beautiful. Thank you for the vulnerability. Thank you for sharing. I
You're
really
welcome.
enjoyed seeing the photos as well.
Thank you.
All right, I'd like to invite Sahara Frett up to the mic. Welcome.
Hello. Hi. That was a lovely piece, by the way. I thought that was phenomenal. No problem. So I'm Sahara, and I have a poem, and the title of the poem is Triple Stuff. And so this is the poem. People used to call me Triple Stuff, like an Oreo. Apparently, I'm white on the inside because I've been taught to slice through ignorance with the sharpness of my letters. Because there's a hole in my throat where pride should be, so sometimes, when I speak sentences, certainty falls out. You say I get the point across, but I'm not sure that I do because no one ever hears me, so allow me to reiterate I am angry and unable to work with the system that refuses to accept my existence as anything more than a fluke. Unable to work with the system that thinks my skin color is the only thing that classifies me. I am unable to work with the system that thinks my pigment is my personality. They called me Triple Stuff because I acted white. Because I didn't match someone else's misconception of a Black woman. I was called Triple Stuff by people that had a blind spot on the spectrum of Black beauty. They had a blind spot where I lay bleeding my mumbled opinions from the hole in my throat where pride should be. But don't bury me. Let me be an example of what happens when the Oreo speaks.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate hearing that. All right, I'm gonna invite Courtney Jones up to the mic now. Courtney, are you here with us? If not, then we'll move on to Mimi Ryahn. Is Mimi here? What about Zakiyyah, let's see, Tikina Mays? Are you here with us? I think Tayleur Crenshaw is here. Taylor, do you want to go up to the mic?
Hey, I'm here.
Cool, welcome.
Hello, everyone. What's the deal? I switched up pieces last minute. And this piece I'm gonna stay outside because I don't wanna freak out my roommates by screaming. I'm gonna be a little bit loud. But the piece that I'm doing is called You're Gonna Make This Black Woman a God. And it's kind of like, I wrote this piece because I heard a lot of people comparing like Black women to God, like Black women is God. But who really wants to be God? Like that's a lot of responsibility. And so I wrote this piece. Black women are God, but look at the history. Gods are always the bigger person. They say they love you instead of look at what you did to me. Black woman is God. I thank you for the acknowledgement. At first, I felt the title wasn't fitting, but now I understand why it's appropriate. Let's go down the agenda. We give all the hails to our Black mothers like Mary, but when they're pregnant, we treat them more like Brenda. You are gonna make this Black woman a god. God was born into a teenage womb, not royalty. Had a bunch of men claim to be down, but had to give his life to get the loyalty. You are gonna make this Black woman a god and not document her childhood. Even if you read it, you wouldn't believe that. You rather spend all day calling us strong or downing us for wearing weave caps. We're looking for 3 wise men to show us the stars and y'all directing us to where the Kardashians be at. You are gonna make this Black woman a god. We've been nurturing y'all since birth. And you can be certain that when Jesus was coming out the belly, he was a baby, but he was still making sure that Mary wasn't hurt. And ever since then, it was his job to be caring for and healing the broken. Who could be strong for Jesus? Even his father was out there lurking, making sure other folks was pampered while Jesus was in Pampers, knowing that he was a baby, but still had work to do. I wonder if he ever questioned if he was helping people or were they using you. You are gonna make this Black woman a god. Bring her to the store with $5. She got unlimited wine and bread that would feed the neighborhood mothers, children, and fathers. Have a crew of 12 men claiming that they would bear their arms up, knowing all along you will be alone going through parts that were the hardest. Black women are gods. We love you even when we know you betray us. We're used to being alone in the dark. That's why we were still fighting for Stephon Clark even after we found the tweets. I don't want nothing Black but an Xbox. Dark bitches bring dark days. I don't want no Black baby. I'm already Black. I don't need no Black baby. While we're out here getting whelps on our backs to mourn your deaths, we are dying and fighting, knowing that there is plenty, and you will still tell us that you ain't got nothing left. We probably won't survive this time. ASAP couldn't relate to Ferguson after Sweden because he survived this time. You are gonna make this Black woman a god. We're on the cross now. It was easy to achieve. Y'all niggas like to hang us out there with the gangsters, robbers, and the thieves. Blood dripping on the floor while we take the blame for the world's insanity. We are screaming out for our fathers like, why, God, have you forsaken me? You are gonna make this Black woman a god. Even Hercules had to fight to be a family with his own father. You worship us like Nefertiti, but only if you whitewash us on TV. This Black woman is God. And you treat her just like that. Ain't no 3 strikes over here. Just pray and we forgive that. This Black woman is a god. You may worship her temples on Sundays where you will find women serving men who claim to hold the gateway to heaven. We still nurse men and children. We still forgive you for the sins that you live in. Black woman is God because you treat us like such. Amen. That's my piece.
Thank you so much, Taylor. That was incredible.
Thank you.
Alrighty, next up we have Zakiyyah Caperhart. Are you here with us?
Okay, here we are.
Okay. Wonderful.
Great.
Hi. So my name is Zakiyyah G.E. Caperhart. And this is my husband, Brian B. Bowling. He's going to accompany me with this piece entitled Earth's Rebirth.
And I'm doing a piece by Pharoah Sanders and Leon Thomas. Here we are. Let me just cue things up again.
It's the song that he will sing and play is The Creator Has a Master Plan.
Here you go. Yeah, 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 yeah. where love does always shine. Joy, the shadows of the love. Peace and love is divine. In my heart, how I yearn for that spirit's return. And I sigh as time flies on. The Creator has a master plan. Peace and happiness throughout the land. The Creator has a master plan. Peace and happiness throughout the land.
Mother Earth is cradled in the womb of blackness each night to rejuvenate, recharge, rebirth, to be born in the morn of a new day. Predicated, she is impregnated, and the heaviness of her burden expands until the sun sets, exposing her brightness. The blackness of the universe surrounds and protects her laborious nights. Tomorrow, a new day is brought forth. Hear the songbirds rejoice, singing sweet music for awaking. Smell the gentle freshness of the air. See the multicolored glories, beautiful dance. Touch the tree that beckons a loving hug. Taste the moist dew on the leaves. Her afterbirth, the elixir of Mother Earth's rebirth.
The Creator has a master plan. Peace and happiness throughout the land. A plan.
The Creator has a master plan.
A plan.
Happiness throughout the
Whoa, a plan.
The Creator has a master plan.
Peace and happiness throughout the land.
The Creator has a master plan.
Peace and happiness throughout the land.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much. Hearing you both just made me so happy. That really made my day. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So next up, I'm going to invite Theresa Wilkerson. Welcome to the mic. Theresa, are you ready? We see your name, but are you ready to read? All right. Oh, sorry. Thanks, Tony. I didn't realize I was muted. Is Rhonda Parsons with us? I know Yeva wanted to read, so why don't we open up the mic to Yeva, and then I'll check in with some of the folks who were on our list but weren't here when I called them.
Thank you, Nia. Okay, I have one poem. It's called Diaspora Song. Somebody tried to tell me something. Oh my, oh. Grew up hearing about some Fulani or other, raised on Anansi stories. Why didn't I share with my children? Somebody tried to tell me something. Oh my, oh. Stephen Biko and Biafra, Mao's Little Red Book. That was grown-up stuff. Somebody tried to tell me something. Oh my, oh. They said my father looked Igbo, but I didn't know. When I spent time in Brazil, that the land of the Orishas was so close. Somebody tried to tell me something. Oh my, oh. My mother could feel the living, the dead, the well. Iemanjá pulled me to her, but the wise Afro-Brazilians gifted me white beads. Somebody tried to tell me something. Oh my, oh. Who are these Black Americans? Oh my, oh. We are daughters of the dust, children of the motherland with other lands. Somebody tried to tell me something. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Yeva. That was beautiful. So I think what I'm going to do right now, since there were a few folks who didn't show up for the open mic, I'm going to read a couple pieces and then have our feature, Javier Reyes, go. And then following Javier, if we still have some time left, we can check in and see if we have still room in the open mic. So I'm going to share a couple of poems. Today I was kind of going back through some of my older writing. So I'm going to pull out a piece that I haven't read in a while, but for some reason I just wanted to read it today. This is Untitled. Under heavy skies ripe with cold showers, our brown hands dip fabric, white cotton and silks reborn indigo. Indigo like the patches of sky between overhanging gray clouds. The air is hot, muggy, and the ground below us sweats. The breeze carries its perspiration, stinking of compost, wet concrete, and young rain. Raindrops collect on brown skin, nails and cuticles turn blue, playing at waterlogged skin. The storm holds us tight, loving us when we need it the most, embracing us when the rest of the world will not. Let's see. All right. This next piece is entitled Consort of the Spirits, after Ntozake Shange. There are road maps in my great-great-grandmother's braids. She keeps seeds in there too, because where we are going, home must come with us. Tell me how your mother hides spices in the hem of her skirt, tucks hymns behind her ears, and calls it packing for tomorrow. Do the women in your family hide rose water in their saliva, sage in between their thighs? Because how dare we sleep on strange land without blessing? Tell me how your sister folds indigo leaves between her toes, smuggles cotton flowers under her arms, and promises that where we are going, there will be color. There are black-eyed peas in my auntie's coin purse. She keeps moonlight in there too, because luck is far more precious than loose change. I carry a cowrie shell in the crook of my arm, It sings when my twins are near. I wear strands of sea glass upon my ears because where we are going, there will be music. Do the women in your family wrap beeswax around their ring fingers, keep matchsticks in their collarbones, and promise that we will never know darkness? They call this survival, but we pack what we must because what we return to may no longer be ours. They call this survival, but the body is a compass and we are each other's destination. They call this survival, but this ritual of making to leave before knowing where we're headed is how we birth futures. They call this survival, but we know better. Where there's a woman, there's magic. So thank you, everyone. I didn't realize until partway through that second piece that both of them reference indigo. So that was a nice coincidence. So I'm now really excited to introduce our feature for this evening. We're super lucky to be graced by the presence and poetry of Javier Reyes. Javier is an actor, writer, educator, and poet from San Francisco, California. He is the founder and artistic director of Colored Ink, a hip hop theater group that uses art to educate and uplift urban communities for social change. Javier is also currently a Success Coach 100% college prep, helping students in the Bayview, Hunters Point, and beyond attend HBCUs. He prides himself on bringing faith, arts, and social justice together through his writing. And Javier designs curricula and programs for youth, conducts workshops for artists, and produces productions that touch people locally and abroad. So welcome, Javier. I'm super excited to have you with us.
Nia, what's good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Facts. All right. Hey, thank you for having me through. Appreciate the bio. Thank you for always being a warm host. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you for everyone else, all the other artists who performed, everyone who's in the chat. I'm just going to give y'all some just straight up heads up. I might say some stuff that's triggering. I may say some stuff that gets me to go to jail. But you know what? It's an open mic. So it's all good, right? So I'm going to do 2 short ones and then 2 little fluffies. Is that okay? Okay. I'll try to go fast. This one's called The Profiteer. Everybody's dying to make me rich. Listen how I make these so-called gangsters my tricks. I get 17 cents for every single bullet. I got kids killing their friends over $1.25. Put your trigger on the figure. Go ahead, pull it. I'm the profiteer. I'm making money. I got everyone acting like a dummy. I got these kids fighting over colors from blue to red. They'll be buying bandanas until they're dead. You heard what I said. I don't mean to be mean, but the only color I care about is the color green. I create viruses and then I'll sell you the vaccine. See, I'm the profiteer. I'm making money. Got everybody acting like a dummy. Crack, heroin, ecstasy, from the sales to the overdose, I'm stacking cheese. How many addicts are born each day? I couldn't have done it without the CIA or Cracks in America or Cracked in America. I'm the profiteer, man. I'm making money. Got everybody acting like a dummy. Give me all your children. I'll put them to work. I'll send them overseas to go find the dirt. So mom and dads, all you Trump supporters, keep waving them flags. And meanwhile, I'm over here waving them money bags. I'm the profiteer. I'm making money. Got everyone acting like a dummy. Feeling a little frustration from the gentrification. I'm kicking y'all out the hoods all across this nation. All that poisonous land and air that you breathe will be a thing of the past once you leave. I'm the profiteer. I'm making money. Got everybody acting like a dummy. Speaking of death, what about the cost? It's funny how much I can make off of one wooden box, from the flowers, the casket, the preacher, the hearse. You'll spend more money on your child's death than your own child's birth. I'm the profiteer. I'm making money. Got everyone acting like a dummy. And at this point, I know you're probably feeling annoyed, because every time your people go to jail, it's as if they're working for me and they being employed. Cheap labor to easy favors. So keep being on TikTok and I'll keep flipping these stocks. I know I'm the realest criminal, but I'll never get caught. So that's my intro. Next piece is called, Are You Entertained? This one might get me to go to jail. It seems like nowadays poetry audiences are so easily entertained. You will clap for almost anything, even if it dulls your brain, because there's wolves dressed in sheep's clothing parading as poets. We'll throw you off with our style and our profile, but you won't even know it. We know folks ain't looking for nothing deep, so we out here on the stage just throwing smoke screens, hiding behind lyrical gymnastics. We use so much emotion to overcompensate that we don't practice. We on stage just acting. We're out here selling you mediocre poems for the ladies, just so we can get to know them, so we can move rent-free into their homes. We're the new Punani poets on this microphone. Matter of fact, we're the ones Lauryn Hill told you to watch out for. See, we use words to touch your nerve, and the women think these fellas are in touch with their feelings, but really we're just trying to get in touch with your curves. We be absolutely saying nothing, but the way we say it and the way we lay it makes it seem like we're saying something, but really we fronting. It's like we're Anakin Skywalker, used to be a part of the Jedis, and now we're forced into these lies, becoming ish-talkers. Because see, as a poet, I can speak louder and louder, and prouder and prouder, and rowdier and rowdier, but my intentions the whole time are cloudier and cloudier. And the truth is, very few of us live what we spit. It sounds good to be on the mic saying righteous shit, but it's harder off the mic to apply it. We still ain't invested in the words we be saying, because nowadays in poetry, we're more concerned about the images we're displaying. We out here getting lazy because we realize we don't have to work for hearts anymore. We can be cool in front and be shady. We only show two emotions, and happy and rage, and you let us get away with sloppy performances as long as we look good on stage. And all the new poets say, hey, I don't have to rehearse. I can always curse. I can read off my phone. I never have to come up well-versed. We're teaching people how to be average, teach them how to do damage, not to care about the pencil that they put to that canvas. We need to set new standards because so far we're lowering the bar. We get wrapped up in our antics, but these poets don't even know who the hell they are. For some of us, get on this mic is life. Some of us, this mic saved our lives, and we owe it to God because he paid the price for these gifts. And if you have it, you got to protect it and not neglect it. Respect the penmanship and let the world be the person that you influence, because true poets don't do it for Instagram likes. We do it so we can instantly change lives on the mic. Kendrick asked, how much a dollar really costs? But I ask, how much does it cost when a poet is lost? When a poet gets cheered on stage for their gifts, but behind gets passes for acting the fool when they slip? I ask, how many poets will sell their soul for applause? But how many of them will pour out their soul for y'all, for a cause? Are you still entertained? Second one. All right, let's get deep. We about to go deep. Nia, are we cool? Okay. We still gonna be friends after this?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
We got time.
No, are we still gonna be friends after this though? Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, just check it. All right, this one is the trigger one, and then we're gonna finish smooth. This is called The Apology. Oh my God. Two people, one decision, Planned Parenthood room, inside of a sterilized waiting room, young queen rocking in her chair, holding her stomach, young father with a pencil and a pad, writing an apology letter, as Lauryn Hill plays in the background. This is an apology letter for the child I did not let enter, that I had to return back to sender. I apologize to you. I sincerely do. I apologize for this thing that we're about to do. See, me and your mom were on the greatest of terms, but we share you for a second because you lived in a womb, but yet you come from my sperm. Knowing that if we had you right now, you've been born out of drama, not love. So we got to end your life like a period, no comma, up above. I wanted to give you the world and all its beauties, but the only thing I can give you is my last name and some debt right now, not fulfilling my parental duties. I apologize to you, child, for not being better prepared. I haven't learned all I need to yet, so bringing you into this world makes me hella scared. See, when I heard you were coming, I didn't know what to do. I denied it. I tried to hide it, thought the words coming from your mama's mouth were untrue. And after a while, I knew she wasn't playing about you being born. I didn't know if your mom was being serious. And I thought for a minute this could be a potential thorn, but she wasn't faking. And we wasn't dating. I began shaking, thinking about this crucial decision we're about to be making. And at first I was like, cool, let's get an abortion and a discussion. But now I'm realizing I'm losing something I never had, and the feeling is disgusting. It would have been different if you would have came like 2 years later. I'd be holding you in my arms, making life so much greater. If I was to bring you now into this world, you would be filled with so much heartache. A lot of stuff your dad had to deal with, so that cycle I'm trying to break. I would have wanted you to grow up with a family that was tight, not me and your mom fighting over visitation rights. I just wanted you to have both of your parents together, something I didn't have, making your life so much better. So you can blame me if you like. I get mad at me too if I gave you all these excuses for preventing someone else's life. And forgive me for not being pro-life. I should have been pro-wife. I should have convinced your mom that a life with me would have been dope with no strife. No one told me that what was between my legs was precious and sex is something you should cherish. But I was out here not acting like royalty, sleeping around, acting like a peasant. So instead of being your mother's keeper, I was just a brother trying to creep her, trying to sleep with her, not trying to go deep with her, but your mom needed to know that I wouldn't walk out or leave on her. And at that time, I couldn't promise that. Feeling like such a hypocrite. Your grandma had me at a young age and no one told her to get rid of it. I hope God keeps your soul around for a while. So when I have my first child, you come out inheriting your father's smile. To the child I never let fertilize. From the bottom of my heart, I apologize. So now it's nighttime in a dark, eerie room filled with silence. Everything is quiet. My eyelids are beginning to fold like baby clothes. The next day, I had a dream about a little girl being pushed by an angel on a swing. I look at her and half her body is burnt and I run over to her screams. I hug her, hoping my love will extinguish her pain. The tighter I hug her, the more her skin becomes back together again. I'm okay, Daddy. As I step back, I see that this is the child that I gave back. The most beautiful thing God has ever created. I started waking up no longer sedated. I want her back like a Jackson 5 track. Saying, God, just give me a little bit more time with her. I don't want to say goodbye to her. I wake up with my eyes in a blur looking around for her, but she was nowhere. I woke up from a dream and then entered into a nightmare. I asked God, can you forgive me for what I've done? And he said, it's finished. I already forgave you back there. And then this is my last one. This will be a little more upbeat. And that's a true story, by the way. I ain't writing about no one else's life. That's my life. So this poem is called You're Not an Accident. And thank you for taking me such a long time to finally realize that. And thank you again, Nia. They say a miracle is an event that's so unlikely that it's inconceivable. So by that definition alone, I'm about to prove that you're a miracle and not an accident and the devil's been deceiving you. Let me prove it to you. You were a 1 in 400 trillion shot of being born. That means you could have been created to be a door, a tree, a leaf, Chief Keef, but God said, nah, I want to make you more like me. And there was a 1 in 20,000 chance for your parents to meet, another 1 in 2,000 chance for them to stay around long enough for you to be conceived. You're a miracle and not an accident. It would have took your ancestors, check this out, a 1 in 400 quadrillion chance for the right sperm to hit the right egg on the right day, just so you could say, why am I here? That means your genes are a representation of an unbroken lineage that goes back 101 generations. You made it through slavery, war, colonization, incarceration, gentrification, just so you'd be saying, what am I supposed to be doing here? Well, let me make it clear. You're not an accident. You're deliberate. I believe God was the first DJ, the first hip hop producer, and all of us human beings were all unreleased tracks that he was about to leak out in the future. And the studio was the universe, void and black. And God said, I'm about to change all that after I dropped my first track. All of the lights, all of the lights. And he said, I don't write down my rhymes. I spit it straight from the dome. I'm the first Holy Ghost writer on this microphone, so take notes. It'd be the true stuff I ever spoke. against all lies, and it was written, but it wasn't by Nas, but the God MC, Jehovah Jireh spitting fire. And I ain't talking about Jay-Z. And it was good music, just like Kanye. And then God says, I'm about to drop my illest track. I call it The Sixth Day. Made primarily of 6 molecules, God dropped 2 tracks. I can imagine God in the booth saying, mic check 1 human or 2, mic check 1 human or 2, until you listen to the song he created by Rob Bass saying, it takes 2 to make a thing go right. And a bar in the song went like this. It says, let's make man and women in our image, according to our likeness, according to our flyness. I think Kendrick Lamar was onto something so priceless. I literally got loyalty and royalty inside my DNA. Even Sade would have to say, this is no ordinary love. And this place called Earth wasn't a mistake. The perfect gravitational force, enough distance from the sun so we won't get torched, enough water so we wouldn't die of thirst, enough melanin so we would never get sunburned. It's almost as if God was listening to Anita Baker, giving you the best that I got when he created us. And maybe he was listening to Wu-Tang when he said, it's yours, just don't destroy it. See, I used to think I was a mistake. Let me check my resume. My parents were teenagers when they had me, product of statutory rape, born premature, almost didn't make my date, molested at 8, lived in Section 8, was on welfare, we had no papes, no lawyers and doctors in my family, no way I thought I could be great. Until the day I heard God say, son, you were divinely made. And when they tried to get my mama to get an abortion, she heard the voice say the same thing. And it's crazy because today I work with youth. I try to keep them safe. I try to keep them out the grave. I try to provide a safe place. I say, hey, I ain't Drake, but trust me, you're part of God's plan. God's plan. Just be patient and wait. I tell them there's no way you can come from monkeys, cavemen, and explosions. People like us just don't fall out the sky. We divine. We connected to the tribe. God's chosen. Don't you know him? We're all hit singles on God's mixtape. And as soon as he took the records out the crate and put them on the deck and pressed play, woo, you was destined to be great. You're not an accident. You were deliberate, made to do something significant. So no matter if you grew up in foster care in an orphanage, you still got substance. Whether you was abandoned or got stranded, you still get the upper handed. Whether you never had a father, no one bothered, God still hollered. You're never alone. You are always a part of the plan, always a part of God's band. Don't be mad, man. I'm just keeping it real. You have a purpose in this life. Give it time and it'll be revealed. We're not accidents. We're more like transplants. We're not from here, but while we're here, we're about to make an impact. I remember this famous hip hop theologian once said, whose world is it? The world is yours. Now pick up the broom and do God's chores. Help out the single mamas, the widows, and those who are scorned. You are not an accident. You're deliberate. I'm done, Nia. What? Frisco, let's go.
Thank you so much, Javier, for sharing with us and for being in this space. It's always wonderful to hear your poetry.
Oh, that's that. Thank you.
All right, so we have one more reader who's gonna kind of close this out for the evening. I'm super excited that she's agreed to read. Lanisha Murphy, welcome.
Hey y'all, I have not written in a very long time and I haven't read in even longer, so thank you. I have 2 pieces I'm gonna read. One is prose and one is poetry. So I'm gonna start with the prose piece first. Crystalline shards fell from a bright white sky. Wisps of hair stretched toward the lake as the breeze assaulted our bones. Our masked faces carried our heavy feet down dirt-lined paths. Some of us careful to avoid the markers of others, some oblivious to the honoring of the dead. I stood on the outskirts, waiting for your body to take its place amongst them. In 9 days, your wife of 53 years had to plan a funeral for 10. Your life was a testimony to thousands, yet just 10 could be chosen to lay you to rest. She was adamant that I attend. So there I stood. Your first name was my last, and you foretold my arrival. You ushered in my presence with prayers and calling cards. You declared that he and I were like a hand in a glove, that he was ordained to cover and care for me. You took us under your wing to learn the things of God and this earth, to love and to be loved. Then the glove became worn, frayed, lost for times and returned. worse for the wear. You became ill and we could not bear to see you go the way of our union. It was a slow demise, occasionally punctuated with glimmers of hope, only to be defeated when the pall of sickness cast its shadow. But you survived. You survived longer than our union. We had withdrawn for the shame, and when I returned to help you mourn the loss of your son, you encouraged my grief to overshadow your own. And now I tread a lonely, solitary path to your grave. Hear a 21-gun salute. Listen to kind words of friends. Watch your grieving wife and think, whose widow will I become? I glance at the last 18 years of my life with tears rolling down his cheeks. It is cold today, and no one can be comforted because the warmth of an embrace is strictly prohibited. That was our first piece. The second one is a little different. What if I let myself love you with abandon? Because, you know, there's a pandemic and we have known each other for 25 years. And you were my first, and I know that you were taken, but I suspect you may not want to be took by her. I mean, y'all have been together forever, but no ring, no commitment. But really, I'm not that girl. And as desperate as I want to be, I ain't she, even though I desperately want to be. Even though I remember the beauty of our words intertwined, our thoughts challenging, hearts connected, bodies one. But I digress. This is about love, not lust. Grown from a youthful phase, cultivated over years of friendship, I give the best relationship advice. You edit and critique my innermost musings. I know you're between the lines. You know the sigh in my yeahs. After all these years, there is a safety in us, a home, a pull and a draw that is undeniable. So we send veiled messages, waiting for the other to acquiesce knowledge of the truth. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. I'm so impressed and so grateful that you decided to grace the mic tonight.
Thank you.
So I think I'm gonna kind of close us out this evening. I just wanna, again, thank everyone for coming and really being vulnerable in this space. I mean, the range of pieces and experiences that were shared tonight was really beautiful. And so I appreciate that everyone is kind of on this learning journey with all of us. I think as a host and as a writer, it's been hard finding and adapting to spaces like this as we're in this uncertain time. But it's really affirming that we can create community in this virtual way. I think I'm so used to kind of like the physical interaction and the verbal affirmations that we have in a space like an open mic in person. But it's exciting to see that we're being creative and that we can still have these valuable, meaningful exchanges. So again, I want to thank everyone for coming. This is a reoccurring series. And so previously when we were open to the public, this was happening once a month, but now in this time we're doing it even more. So it's every 2 weeks. And our next open mic will be on May 7th. And I'm excited that we're gonna have Jessica Care-Moore be our feature that evening. So please come back and join us. And all of you here, please share this with your friends and community. Please sign up to read at the next open mic. We'll keep posting about that on our website as well. And then that one will be followed by May 21st. And we have Noel Quinones featuring, he's a Puerto Rican Bronx-based poet. So another really great thing about this is that now we can have features who aren't just based here in the Bay Area. Like the Bay is great. We got great poets here, but it's really wonderful to expand our reach. So that's kind of been the silver lining in this time. And I'm really excited about that. And just as a reminder again, I'm gonna share this with everyone, but if you are able to, we really do appreciate any financial support. Any donations do go to supporting MOAD, supporting our programming, and continuing to amplify the art and the culture that we do at MOAD. So you can either give a donation on our website, which is moadsf.org, or you can also make a donation through your phone. So by texting the number 56512 and typing MOAD SF, So we really do appreciate this, and any and all support is welcome, and showing up, sharing it with your friends is also really impactful. So I guess at this moment, I'll allow folks to turn their mic, but the event essentially officially is wrapped up, but if you do want to exchange with some of the artists, you're welcome to.
Oh, this whole thing is beautiful.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nia.
Thank you all that performed. It was beautiful meeting you and seeing you.
We want to say
Hey, it was wonderful seeing y'all, hearing y'all.
Thank you.
And I look forward to giving y'all a big old ear hug next time.
Hey, please connect with the links. I'm so looking forward to seeing you all on the other side of this and supporting you in our everyday lives.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you, Nia.
Thank you, Nia.
Thank you.
Nia, you held it down, homegirl.
Good
Yeah,
job,
baby,
you were great.
yeah.
One day I'll actually come out to San Fran and visit.
Yes, please do.
Thank you, Nia, so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nia.
Thank you. This was wonderful.
It was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nia.
Thanks for coming and being here.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Look forward to the next one.
Yes, we'll see you then.
Okay then. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nia.